Deputy Director Andrew McCabe back in the news this evening. He is now suing the Justice Department and the FBI. He says he was unjustly fired and that he can prove it. Ed Henry joins us now. He is still in Singapore tonight with the very latest on this story. So, Ed, why is he suing them?
Well, Martha, for a number of reasons. Just breaking now, Fox has obtained this 36-page lawsuit from Andrew McCabe, the former #2 official, of course, at the FBI. What is he saying? Well, he's saying that he's unfairly fired. We know that already from March, but that he has been wanting to get documents from the Justice Department, from the FBI, to explain more about his firing. Well, he was fired in March, remember, for leaking information improperly to the media, and then, more importantly, perhaps, lying to investigators about it. That's the allegation. So why is he suing now? Well, number one, there have been reports that James Comey, his former boss, the top guy, of course, at the FBI, has been called in to talk to a U.S. attorney in Washington because they're considering criminal charges against Andrew McCabe about lying to investigators. So they're trying to square his stories with James Comey. So both McCabe and Comey under the microscope. But then the other big thing, you mentioned I'm here in Singapore. The White House was obviously focused before the president a few hours ago got on Air Force One on all of this diplomacy with North Korea. But they were also, I can tell you from talking to senior officials, looking very closely at what's happening in Washington on Thursday, which is that this finally, we're going to see this Inspector General report from the Justice Department. There are reports out saying that it's going to be devastating for Andrew McCabe and James Comey because this is the report that's looking at their conduct in terms of the FBI investigation of Hillary Clinton's email server. So we've been talking about this for weeks, for months. This report's going to be devastating. It's going to come out. People have been wondering, where is it? It's finally coming out Thursday. So interesting that Andrew McCabe about to take it again pretty hard on that report, already facing potential criminal charges, already fired from the FBI in March, is now trying to get ahead maybe of this IG report and try to get his side of the story.
That's probably exactly right. We know it's a 400-page report, and a couple of things have leaked out. That at one point there's a suggestion that James Comey was insubordinate in the way that he dealt with the email investigation, and a lot more is going to come out on that. Another story that is percolating out there tonight is an inside look at some of the sort of small group meetings between the House Intel Committee leadership and Rod Rosenstein's folks, including Rod Rosenstein himself, that these have, I'm hearing on more than one occasion, in fact, on many occasions, devolved into shouting matches that sometimes last as long as 30 minutes, and that he's basically threatened to subpoena them for their emails and their documents because he's angry that they're asking him for so much, Ed.
Well, look, our colleague Catherine Herridge has been all over this story, so I'm picking up the ball there. And Rod Rosenstein is somebody who's been on the firing line, the president and others going after him because he oversees Robert Mueller. He oversees the documents at the Justice Department there since Jeff Sessions has been recused and hamstrung, if you will. He's the one overseeing those documents that Devin Nunes and other top Republicans want to see about whether there was a spy embedded in the Trump campaign or not, all of that. And you're right. From our reporting, it seems that Rod Rosenstein, under pressure to turn over documents, has warned Kash Patel, one of the senior aides to Devin Nunes and others, you know what? We're going to subpoena your emails. We're going to try to get some documents from you. And Devin Nunes and others have been put off by this, saying, look, we're trying to do legitimate oversight of the FBI and the Justice Department, and you're basically threatening us and coming after us and making a mockery of the oversight process. This ties right back to McCabe and the investigations of the investigators, basically, which is the president trying to change the narrative about Mueller and saying, what about Rosenstein? What about Comey? What about McCabe?
Something's going to give in this situation, and we'll see what it is. Ed, thank you very much. Good to talk to you tonight. Have a great trip home. Great job over there.
More disturbing details about Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein emerging. Rosenstein, back in January, threatened to subpoena emails and phone records from the staffers of the House Intelligence Committee that was conducting oversight of DOJ and its corruption. One staff member reacted to Rosenstein's shocking threats by saying, quote, watching the Deputy Attorney General launch a sustained personal attack against a congressional staffer in retaliation for vigorous oversight was astonishing and disheartening. Also, having the nation's #1 for these matters law enforcement officer threaten to subpoena your calls and emails was downright chilling. Joining us tonight is Kimberly Strassel, a member of the editorial board for the Wall Street Journal, whose reporting on the deep state and the Department of Justice corruption has been exemplary and leading the way often. Great to have you with us, Kimberly. First, your reaction to Rosenstein's outright threat, attempted intimidation of a committee that holds oversight authorities and responsibilities over DOJ.
Yeah, hi, Lou. We're moving into gravely serious territory here, because by this account, in this January meeting, according to at least two staffers, that in the middle of a discussion about their oversight duties, this was when Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein launched into this threat, which definitely does sound as though he was saying, back off. If you continue to engage in oversight the way that you are, I will retaliate, and I have the full force of the government behind me. Now, I should hasten to say the Department of Justice is pushing back. They are claiming that this was Mr. Rosenstein responding to the prospect that he might have a contempt citation leveled against him, and that this was how he was responding to that. But the staffers disagree, and if their account is correct, this is a Department of Justice that really seems to no longer know its boundaries.
Yeah, it seems that Rosenstein is also the fulcrum for most of this, whether it be FISA authorizations, whether it be expeditions to London, he is playing a very heavy hand here in what seems to be obvious political corruption at the highest levels of the Justice Department.
Well, here's what you would hope to see from a Trump Justice Department, by the way. These were people that were put in, just as they were in other agencies. They were supposed to go in and be reformers. But not only have we seen now this allegation of threats, but you've got a Department of Justice and FBI that have flouted subpoenas after subpoenas. They appear to be flouting one tonight. There was a new deadline from House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes to hand over the details, let them see the documents related to this spy who was monitoring and looking into the Trump campaign. It would appear, we've now blown past normal business hours, that they're not going to comply with that tonight. So they've done that. There are the threats. There's the redactions where they continue to hide information. We just got a new letter from Senator Ron Johnson today showing how they had deliberately hid the names of different people involved in the investigation so that Congress couldn't investigate.
And we have an IG report that's going to be coming forward Thursday. We're told that it's heavily redacted. I do not know that to be the case. I hear that is the case. But if it's redacted as heavily as is being suggested, we're, it seems to me, spiraling toward a constitutional crisis. And the only solution I see, Kimberly, is for the president himself to step in and say, this ends now, turn over all of the documents. It's a direct order from the President of the United States to an executive branch and its leaders to do so forthwith. Your thoughts?
I absolutely agree. Declassify, put out there the documents related to this informant, put out there the documents related, put out the FISA application that was put forward so that Americans can see for themselves how the FBI handled itself in 2016 with regard to both the Clinton investigation and the Trump investigation, because it is evidently clear that they are hiding things and that they will never willingly hand it over themselves.
Kimberly Strassel, thanks so much for being with us. And again, we applaud your work, your extraordinary reporting, and thank you so much. Come back soon.